everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review as well as swatches of the new Too Faced Natural Love eyeshadow palette that they come out with. This is available on toofaced.com, and I was one of those people that stayed up to get it, but I think it's still in stock on their website, so I'm glad that Too Faced has finally started making enough stuff that it doesn't sell out in like 2 minutes, you know. This is an overview. I am going to talk about the packaging, how long these wear on the eyes, how they work, and the different formulas. Now, I am going to go ahead and just read this here on the back just to kind of give you guys a little bit of background about the palette. But it says, for all you natural lovers out there, your beauty dreams have just become reality. From professional makeup artists to starlets and real women, the natural eye had been one of the most coveted but challenging looks to achieve until Too Faced created the original natural eye palette in 2009. With essential neutral shades and our signature Get the Look Glamour guides, Too Faced changed the beauty world forever. To celebrate this iconic look, get ready to fall hard for the first ever Natural Love eyeshadow collection blockbuster with 30 naturally gorgeous eyeshadows. Of course, we had to include some of our favorites from the best-selling Natural Eyes, Natural Matte, and Natural At Night palettes. But get ready to take your neutral game to the next level with exclusive shades. So from my understanding and from seeing pictures online and this whole reveal, this is supposed to be natural. So if you're someone who likes more intense eyeshadows, you know, probably not going to be the best palette for you. Now this is, like I said, available right now on toofaced.com. It will be available on Sephora later. I will put the link where you can check it out down below. This is $59, might as well say $60, and like it says, it does come with 30 eyeshadows. This is good for 12 months as well. So first off, the packaging, it is gorgeous. I absolutely love the packaging. I like how the Natural Love word and the roses are that velvety feel. And then everything else is really nice and smooth. It's really nice and heavy. It doesn't feel cheap at all. But it is just like that cardboard packaging. Now you do get a mirror in here, a pretty good sized mirror. I'm not going to hold it all the way up because I don't want to blind you guys. And then here is an overview of the shadows. So I'm just kind of making sure you guys can see those really good. As you guys can tell by looking at it, the colors are very natural. Now, I will start off by saying there's not that many matte shadows in here, and that kind of bums me out because when I think of a natural look, you know, I want a lot more matte shades, especially to work with in my crease. The only really kind of mid-tone brown shade you've got in here to maybe lay down as a base for your crease color is Honey Butter. I mean, Spotlight as well, but this one doesn't show up the best on my skin tone. And Nudie are really the only mid-tone matte brown shades. And then you move into these two deeper shades, which is Makeup and Chill and Stiletto. And this is a deeper warm brown than you do have your just classic black shade. Now, like I said, there's not that many matte shades in here. That is something that kind of bums me out because I really like matte shades. I mean, makeup's makeup. If you want to use a glittery shade in your crease, you can do it. I get that. But, I don't like to do that. But if you do, there's no rules in makeup, so it's whatever. But I did just want to mention that because I know a lot of people do like matte shades. I wish they would have done half matte and then half shimmer. Now for the matte shades, they are really creamy and buttery, especially when you swatch them. But I did notice playing around with this is they are a little bit patchy. I do have them on my eyes today. And I have tried them with different primers. I've tried them without primers. And for me, I think they blend better with the primer. And then I do always set my eyeshadow primer with a translucent powder. Usually whatever I set my under eyes with, which is usually the Laura Mercier one. So they are a little bit patchy, but I think if you take your time and blend them, that, like I said, you can kind of get around that. That's what I did, is I just slowly build them up. So they are nice and pigmented though. They don't lack pigmentation or anything, at least the mattes don't. Now moving on to more of the chunky glittery shades, like Fairy Tale, Tickle Me. These are those that when you swipe them and swatch them, they're okay, but when I try to apply them on my eyes, there's a ton of fallout, and it's none of the actual color comes off onto my eyes, it's just the glitter. And then you do have more shades that are kind of got more of a rougher consistency, like Fingers Crossed, Chocolate Martini, Night Fever, Hot and Bothered. These have got more finely milled glitter, and they're not as chunky, but these are a little bit hard to build up. And again, I do like to do my eye makeup first, since there is so much glitter. But I really, really have to build these colors up, especially since they don't have the best pigmentation, as I find that I keep going in and going in. Now, finally, you do have shades that are more of a shimmery shade that doesn't have the chunks of glitter. like Satin Sheets, Kitten, Bunny Nose, Moonbeam, Love Bug, Smokin', Cutie Patootie, Dear Diary, Coffee Date, you know, what's mostly in this palette. Those are very natural shades. You do have to build them up. Like, they're not the most pigmented. I think that they work best if I do use a little bit of my Smashbox primer water on my brush. I do get more pigmentation. There isn't a lot of fallout from those shades. The only ones that, like I said, have a lot of fallout are the ones with chunky glitter. Then the ones with this really hard, like gritty glitter. And I don't like glittery feeling eyeshadows, but if they're pigmented, I don't mind to kind of work with them. But I mean, like I said, they're not my absolute favorites. I like the idea of this palette, but I think Too Faced could have done a better job, just being honest. I love their chocolate bar palettes, and I love their little eyeshadow palettes that come in the little tin cans, the little nine eyeshadows ones. I think the quality is really good. But for me, just the quality was really lacking in this one. I definitely would have liked to seen, you know, a little bit more work going into, you know, like these shades that are not glittery, you know, a little more pigmentation. I don't mind eyeshadows that aren't super creamy or buttery. Like, I love the Stila ones. They're not that creamy or buttery. They're a little bit more like stiff, but you don't get a lot of fallout and they build up really nicely. But it's like these, it's really hard for me to kind of keep building them up. Now, kind of moving on to how long they last on my eyes. This was my biggest issue, is that these don't last on my eyes very long. They last about 4 hours, and I start to get a little bit of creasing, and then usually by hour 5, you know what I'm saying, your eyeshadow just looks like crap. Without eyeshadow primer, I couldn't tell a huge amount of difference in how long they wore, but I do think that you need eyeshadow primer because they definitely blend a lot better with eyeshadow primer, and after you set that with a base, at least in my experience. I do have hooded downturned eyes though, so a lot of times eyeshadows don't last the longest on me, so just keep that in mind as well. But overall, like I said, I'm not in love with the palette, I'll just be honest. I think the colors are beautiful. Again, I definitely would like to see a couple more like mid-tone browns. There is minimal fallout from the matte shades, so I think that that's really nice. You know, so if you just want like a matte look, you know, maybe you can do your foundation stuff first. But some of the shades are really pretty. I think if you're someone who likes like very light eyeshadow, then you might really like this palette because you do have more light shades in here than you do deeper shades. Or if you're someone who just likes a pop of color on your lids very lightly, like a sheen, then I think that this would be a great palette. But like I said, I want to go ahead and I'm going to swatch each individual row for you guys, and then I'll come back and just kind of wrap up the review. So let's go ahead and get into the swatches. Enjoyed those swatches. Now I'm just going to kind of, I guess, say if I think this palette was worth it. In my opinion, no. I might have paid $30 for this because you definitely have to work with it. There's not a lot of matte shades in here. But again, if you're someone who likes very light washes of color maybe on your lid, then this might be a good palette for you. But I think there is better quality natural palettes out there. And I think if you do like that natural eyes looks to go with their 9-pan eyeshadows, I think that those are better anyways in my opinion. But overall, like I said, for me, it was kind of a letdown. So I'm definitely hoping that the next collection Too Faced comes out with, they work on it a little bit more because the last few I've been really disappointed in. But yeah, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on the palette. Like I said, it's not a terrible palette, but it's not the best palette out there on the market, especially for 60 bucks. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review and swatches. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.